Welcome to Columbus, Ohio in 1900, a capital city that feels like it's just been plugged into the future. Brought back to life using advanced AI reconstruction, we're stepping into a world of electric streetcars sparking along High Street, coal smoke hanging low over rooftops, and the steady presence of the Ohio State House watching over downtown. Columbus is no coastal giant, but it's growing fast, already around 125,000 people by 1900, and it sits at a perfect crossroads of government, rail travel, and industry. The new century is here, and in Columbus you can feel it in the wires overhead, the clang of the trolley bell, and the rush of people moving between the station, the State House, and the city blocks that never quite sit still. Columbus in 1900 runs on morning routines and on rails. Downtown wakes up to the sound of wagon wheels on brick, shop doors opening, and streetcars sliding past storefronts with a bell that cuts through the cold air. By this point, the city has shifted from horse-drawn cars to electric streetcars, especially on key routes like High Street. So the whole place feels faster, more connected, more modern than it did just a decade earlier. Workers step off the trolley in heavy coats, clerks thread through crowds toward offices and government buildings, and deliveries arrive in a constant parade of crates, barrels, and bundled goods. Inside the neighborhoods, life is tighter and more local. South of downtown, German Village is already a defined world. Brick homes, corner bakeries, familiar surnames on signs, and streets that feel like they've carried the same conversations for generations. To the west, across the Scioto, Franklinton still has that older Rivertown edge, practical, working class, and close to the grit of transport and labor. Families eat in small dining rooms lit by lamps. Kids run errands on foot, and every block has its own rhythm, because in 1900 Columbus isn't trying to be glamorous, it's trying to be reliable, and that makes it feel real. When Columbus wants to be entertained in 1900, it doesn't chase neon, it chases crowds. Downtown theatres and halls pull people in for vaudeville acts, travelling performers, comedy and music that fills the room without microphones. Brass bands and marching groups turn civic events into spectacle, and the city's status as the state capital keeps the calendar busy. Parades, speeches, ceremonies, flags on Capitol Square. Even without modern nightlife, there's always somewhere to go, something to hear, and someone to meet, especially on weekends when the streets feel less like a work route and more like a stage. And culture in Columbus isn't only downtown, it's neighborhood deep. Schiller Park in German Village is already a gathering place by this era, hosting festivals and community events, and it carries a distinctly immigrant energy that shapes the city's identity. Newspapers are everywhere, newsboys, headlines, ink-stained hands, connecting Columbus to the wider world while keeping the focus local. Politics, crime, jobs, weather, and what's coming next. In 1900, entertainment isn't an escape from the city, it's how the city reminds itself it's alive. Columbus is a government town, but in 1900 it's also a manufacturing town, and you can feel both at once. Near the State House, the work is paper, policy, and appointment schedules, clerks moving between offices, files stacked high, meetings that decide budgets and laws. But just beyond the civic core, the work turns physical. Rail yards, warehouses, foundries, and factories that keep the city employed and expanding. One of the biggest names of the era is the Columbus Buggy Company, a major manufacturer of horse-drawn vehicles that helped define Columbus as a place that could produce at scale, long before automotive became the new obsession. Industry in Columbus isn't only about what people ride, it's about what powers the country. The Jeffrey Manufacturing Company, based in Columbus, becomes famous for heavy industrial equipment like coal-cutting machinery, tied to the energy demands of the era. And all of it depends on transport. Columbus Union Station has recently been rebuilt, late 1890s, reflecting how rail travel and freight movement are central to the city's momentum. In 1900, Columbus doesn't feel like a finished story. It feels like a workshop mid-shift, still hammering out what it's going to become. Stand at High and Broad, and you understand Columbus in 1900 immediately. This is where the city's two identities meet, the ceremonial heart of the capital and the practical flow of commerce that keeps everything moving. Streetcar tracks cut through the scene, wires web the sky, pedestrians weave between wagons, and the storefronts feel busy enough to suggest a bigger city than Columbus technically is. The State House anchors the view with Greek Revival confidence, but the street level tells the real story. Work boots next to polished shoes, deliveries next to politicians, everyone sharing the same crowded grid. Then the city spreads outward in distinct directions. Head north and you feel the pull of Ohio State University, already a major presence by this point, shaping a university district energy before that phrase is even common. South brings you back into the brick-lined texture of German Village. West takes you across the Scioto into Franklinton, where the river is both a connection and a boundary. And through it all, Columbus keeps evolving. Streetcars compress distances, rail ties the city to the nation, and the new century quietly rewires daily life. Change doesn't arrive like a headline here. It arrives like infrastructure, steady, visible, and impossible to ignore. I hope you enjoyed your tour of Columbus in 1900, a city where the clang of the streetcar and the calm authority of the State House share the same streets, and where the 20th century feels brand new but already unstoppable. Subscribe for more AI Reconstructed, and I hope to see you in the next one.